twilight hours, voices sing tales of hope and heartbreak, everything a rhythmic blend of dreams and schemes, whispered sweetly in these.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon. How are you? It's my pleasure being here. And I would like to commend the organizers of the webinar. I'm actually expectant of a good time this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's have Kennedy and Jebet, then we start.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Neti Jebet. I'm from Kenya, from Kabarak University. I'm one of the students of Professor Wanyama.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. This is Kennedy. This is Kennedy Mjumbe from Kenya, Kabarak University, students of Professor Wanyama. Pleasure to join you.
Thank you. I have a pleasure to introduce these amazing people who all of them directly or indirectly have impacted my life. And I know people will be asking, don't you have female scholars in Tanzania? We have so many of them. And we were to have one who was previously president of ISME, but Professor Emily Akuno Achieng. However, she's out of the country for official duties and she's not in control of her time there. So we had to excuse her. Another one is Dr. Mushere right here. And we have Professor Jean Kidula and so many others throughout the world also representing the African fraternity. I would like the speakers. Okay, one, let me welcome you. This is what is called ISME, International Society for Music Education. And this particular one is a student forum where students who are studying music and people who are in their early career in music gather and share insights about this music career and music education. It's a nice place for networking. It's a nice place for learning. And one of the things that we do is a series of such webinars. And we are honored to host the very first one, Africa-centric webinar. And we are graced by very experienced music scholars and educators and researchers and so many performers and so many things that they have on their head that I don't think I can finish them. And I think I'll give them around 3 minutes each just to tell us who they are, what they do. Yeah, I would like to start with Professor Geoff Madimabe Mapaya from University of Venda, South Africa.
Unmute myself.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon once again. I'm not sure if you can see me. Oh, yes, you should be able to see me. Yes, my name is Madimabe Mapaya, but before I start, I want to wish my twin brother happy birthday. Born on the same time, same day, same mother. That's Professor Wanyama. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Happy birthday to you. Twin brother.
We are twins. we were separated at birth, but music got us together. One is in South Africa, another one is in Kenya. Well, I am all of the above. I am a musician. I am a music educator. I am a scholar in musicology. Those three could easily stand on their own as a chosen career path. But for some strange reasons, I've decided to straddle all the three. And then I think the reason why could be a point of discussion in this kind of a gathering where students would want to know where they stand and what prospects do they have. I did my, I played guitar from a very young age. I think I got my first paying gig at 9, when I was 9 years old. That's many, many, many years ago. And I continued to study music, even though the South African situation is such that there's no music at high school. But I got into music through the NGOs that were providing bridging courses or bridging tuition into music proper. Then I did up to grade 8 of classical guitar and the theories that goes with it. Then I went to the University of Cape Town and studied jazz performance. At the end of it all, I had a challenge because people my age were becoming very popular. Hello? Yeah, people my age were becoming very popular. So I was in the midst of very popular musicians, and then the pressure was for me to be on the stage rather than teaching. But I decided that no, I need to pursue teaching. Then I followed music pedagogy and then also the higher diploma in education, which then qualified me to teach at all levels of music education in South Africa. So I started working as a music educator, but mainly I was performing. Later on, I chose to join a university, and that's when my academic career started. I think that is me in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know you have left a lot because of time. So
Yes,
if you can put that in a paper somewhere.
Yeah, you gave me 3 minutes and then I tried to use the 3 minutes. That's why I said the rest will be the subject of the entire discussion.
Yes, he's also a mentor, mentoring a lot of people that I know.
Yes, thank you.
Let's head on to Professor Mellitus Nyongesa Wanyama.
Thank you for the opportunity. You are also giving me 3 minutes?
Yes, please, Prof.
Okay, so let me see what I can cut and what I can paste and all that. But basically, I am a teacher trained at the lowest level certificate in education in early 80s, and I taught in primary school. And that when I was training as a teacher to teach in primary school, we were taught about 10 subjects, and one of them was music. I developed interest in pursuing music as a career when I was told there are possibilities of engaging through ABRSM, Royal Schools of Music, London, based exams. So I pursued from grade 5 to grade 8. And when I left, I managed now to join diploma level where I did music and Kiswahili. And then I left, I taught in secondary schools. And my passion was in, and is up to now, choral music. Unlike my twin brother who is in jazz, but we just complement each other. So as I deal with the choral music and African sensed music compositions, where I all the time borrow from the structures in African music theory and practice of composing and performing music, and also understanding the music. I have pursued that line. But in the middle there, I also studied linguistics, literature, theater, and film at More University, and bachelor's and master's, and all my projects were inclined to music, because I thought at one moment I was thinking I will go back and complete my journey, academic journey in music. So through PASMA, Pan-African Society for Music Educators, I located a supervisor called Professor Meki Nzewi, who discussed with me possibilities of pursuing research in African music. And at PhD level at University of Pretoria, I researched on form and content of African music. And after that, I now moved from the performance, entirely performance practices, of which I was in charge at More University as the music director. I was in charge of the choir for several years, about 10 years, to move to the Department of Literature, Film and Theater and start music courses from certificate to bachelor's. Then along the way, I was identified to be the founding dean, School of Music and Media at Kabarak University. And I had taught in More University for 20 years. Then at Kabarak University, I was the dean, and I served until the beginning of this week as the founding dean for 10 years. Then currently, I was appointed as the director of a new directorate called Linkages, Partnerships, and Alumni. That's where now I'm working, and I'm hoping it will give me another window to interface with music scholars and even interact with them more. Thank you. I hope Sajile will not punish me. I've gone beyond by some few minutes, but I thought that is necessary.
I know you've tried. It's not easy to summarize a 30-page CV in 2-3 minutes. Yeah, so thank you so much, Professor. And off to Dr. Tolluope Owoaje, if I'm pronouncing it right. You know, African names sometimes they are very tonal, so you need to be very careful when pronouncing them. Yes, Daktari. I told you that when I call you Daktari, just know it's Dokita.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Well, thank you, Sajili. Well, my name is Tolluope Owoaje. I work in the University of Ibadan. Currently, the head of department of music there. Now, well, my own music journey started in the church in a way because, well, my father was an organist and a choir master, though that was not what he did for living, you know, but I was brought up in a musical home, and naturally grew up to learn to play the piano, the organ, and church music was all around me. And eventually, I went to study music at Obafemi Awolowo University in the 80s, in the mid-80s. And then after that, I thought I moved on to work at the Polytechnic Ibadan for about 10 years. That was in the 90s, spanning from 1990 to about 2000. And I taught music in the Department of Music. That eventually became in the Department of Music Technology. And then afterwards, I moved to the University of Ibadan it's about 2004 to become the artist in residence, in the university, where I directed the university choir and orchestra for many years. And though I had the predecessor, a very fine musician, the person of Christopher Oyeshiku, who had done excellent work there. So I continued the work, built the choir to an enviable standard. And the work of the choir, I was resident in the Department of Theatre Arts. That was where I was. I was teaching in the Department of Theatre Arts and then directing the university choir from there. The university choir embraced people from all over the university, staff and students. And then the work of the university choir now translated to become the Department of Music eventually. I worked to draft the curriculum and then brought up the make sure that the university went into establishing a Department of Music, which took off in around 2012. And then, which I, of course, have to head the department that is pioneering the work of the department and all that. Now, my academic work in terms of doctoral work, I was a choir boy, somebody that grew up in the church. Eventually, I took up interest. I wanted to research Yoruba choral music, how it evolved. So I went into the history of Yoruba music, Yoruba church music, and then I wrote my doctoral work on that. And then, of course, I kept directing choirs, the university choir, even while, I did all my doctoral work. And then eventually I, made up that the department was built up, and that's where we are today. And then eventually, I have another choir in town called Ibadan City Choral that I direct, which is the citywide kind of choral organization, and it gives the town and gown to the whole process. So anyway, I am someone who has, who took interest in music in terms of conducting, directing music and all that. And then, of course, publishing, doing, in the area of theory of music, African music, and, things that guides musical evolutions in the African space. So these are the things I'm involved with. And of course, teaching also regularly and researching into African music. So these are let me keep it short like that, so that I hope you've gotten a little bit of my background in music and music education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. So, okay. My name is Asajile Mwakalinga. I'm the representative of the African continent in the International Society for Music Education Student Forum. And maybe just to start the conversation, people are eager to know what it is like to study music, to be a music scholar in Africa. For example, my own experience from my country, Tanzania, is that by the time I was studying, I was told that just the other day they started teaching music in primary schools, and they're planning to start to do so in secondary or high schools, depending on how you call it, where you are. So for me, the first time I studied music in the classroom was when I was doing my diploma in music and sound production in Bagamoyo, Tanzania. So people might be wondering, how do we maneuver this in Africa? If I'm not mistaken, Professor Mapaya said that he did not study music in primary school. So could we just shed light on how the situation of music scholarship is in Africa, starting from the foundation stage to now getting to the levels that you have gotten to, because I believe you have that experience. Anyone to start? Probably Dr. Tolu? You are muted, Dr.
All right. Thank you. We have the challenge, particularly from my own side of the Africa, Nigeria here, where we only, the way we have music from onset is that we were taught from the folk backgrounds. And so not many people had studied music such that they will now become teachers of music in both primary and secondary and tertiary institutions. So we had very, very few people who had the experience, who went to study music. So we had a lack of, a dearth of music teachers. So it's only we were taught music that the ones that were from our full backgrounds in the primary school and secondary school and all that. So eventually we didn't have that background where you had a consistent curriculum for primary school, secondary school, and all that. And then it's kind of reduce the rate at which we could grow in terms of the curriculum of music. But eventually, a few people who took the challenge of going to study eventually came back to teach others. And then our teacher training institutions began to have some units that taught music, and then they now produce teachers who are now teaching in. So it's a very slow process, but now it's getting better. We are having more people who are now trained, but originally it was not so. People who are taught music as an extracurricular activity, and then eventually if they took more interest, then they went to, find tuitions by themselves, and then got, into proper training, and then moved on to produce teachers that are now beginning to multiply in our institutions. So, and it has also moved to our tertiary levels, and then in our institutions now, in Nigeria, we now have the Department of Music in almost, in quite at least 1/3 of the universities in Nigeria. You can say we now have departments of music who are now producing more personnel, more teachers and personnel for our music. So that's been our experience in around us here.
Wow. Let's hear from Professor Mapaya. How is the situation in South Africa?
I thank you. I think we all know that South Africa is the country that has just gained independence a mere 30 years or so ago. This then gives credence to what the former president Thabo Mbeki said, that South Africa is two countries in one. You can even see it in the in the national anthem that we are stuck with. It has actually two sentiments. One, the aspiration of Africans. On the other side, we have the triumphant spirit of the people who governed or who ruled the country during apartheid. It will then follow that whilst the Black schools did not have music education, the same could not be true in white schools. White schools had music education, they have cultural studies, and then they had sports. All these things that define the character of a people. The Black schools were deprived of that kind of education. So it becomes difficult because if we agree that musicians are born, then it means we have people who go through their education without actually developing the God-given talent. That is why we don't see that much of progress as far as the Black community is concerned when it comes to music. Yes, we are a singing tradition. We have very robust choral fraternity, but it does not necessarily happen at school level. It's an extramural activity. So at school level, you'll be very privileged to find music education. As a result, then, it creates a very big problem, because in the last 10 years or so, we wrote a curriculum which was forcing all the schools to offer music and creative arts in general. While the policy is in place, we still are not graduating enough personnel to take up the positions. So this then makes the music education in South Africa, and particularly in Black communities, almost stillborn, you can say, because you can have the legislation that go and teach music. If you don't have teachers to go and do it, it will never happen. So that's where we are at the moment. Very frustrating situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. I almost wondered, where does Isichathamiya come in if you say that there are all those problems, because it's one of the genres that has always fascinated me. Professor Wanyama, being an educator who has worked from the primary school level teaching, high school level teaching, college level teaching, university and postgraduate teaching and mentorship, I think you might have even a wider picture of what it is in Africa, specifically in Kenya. What do you think about that?
I think there are patterns in Africa that look alike, but albeit with some differences, depending on the geopolitical differences. Like in Kenya, historically, before independence, there were very few schools that taught music. I would think there were about 5 or so, and most of them were in the city, Nairobi city, and they were schools for the white community. So the aim was to transfer what was in the mother colonial countries in terms of curriculum to the colonized country, that's Britain. So they even had the music festival, which was catering for that kind of environment back at home. And later in the music festival, there was the introduction of a competition in African music, but they only limited initially that competition to performance of a folk song. Actually, maybe solo folk song, where you just come to perform your own folk music and you go. But it kept the situation kept on changing and changing, and other genres or classes were introduced as we moved towards independence and beyond. So with that kind of arrangement, a few privileged people who went to those schools, which started as white and later started bringing in blacks and later became all black after independence, they had a chance to study music as a subject. And I'm one of those people who just heard that music can be taught because I was born in a village where we sang a lot, danced a lot, but to think that music can also be taught in primary school or secondary school, we could just hear of it. And in fact, for me, I could see in some books having music notation, and I was wondering whether people who say they are reading that music are actually seriously saying the truth, or they're just um, talking about it. How can you read music? So with that kind of background, you can see where we have come from. But then I personally liked music in terms of performance. Even the school, when we had functions, I could lead the groups and do just oral composition. I compose myself the music on any theme and just perform. And we continued like that. Now, somewhere when President Moi came on the throne, that is about 1978, between 1978 to 1980, there was a curriculum change which moved from the previous curriculum to 844, 8 years in primary, 4 in secondary, and 4 in university. Music became compulsory in all schools, and we had even lack of teachers, or teachers who had some little knowledge, especially those ones who had studied the ABRSM curriculum. And while they were in teachers' college, they were recruited to teach music in secondary school and primary, and we moved on. But everybody, like the crop of many music scholars, music teachers right now sprouted at that time. But when in 2002, again, the curriculum changed and made music non-examinable, and it grouped with other subjects which were performance-based or expression-based, like art and physical education. So again, we went back to some dark stage. And of late, we have embraced another change where we are in the era of competence-based education, and the primary section and secondary section are geared towards that competence-based education, where we have science, technology, engineering, and maths, and then there's a performing arts section where music is there, and then we have another section of social science and something like that. So we are looking forward to have these pathways develop to accommodate music more. But for me, I started learning music when I joined teachers college at the age of around 21, 22. And actually, that is when I touched a piano. I had touched a keyboard. But now, you see, we had to be introduced. And then we were still thinking of it as just a by the way subject. Because in primary school, secondary school, primary school, we had music timetable, but that time we were singing one song or two, and we call it a music education or learning music. Or doing other subjects in that place of music. But I remember those songs and all that. And in secondary school, I happened to go to schools which didn't have music as a subject. So where music was expressed more was in football games and athletics, where we would get space now to sing for our teams, and we liked it. So it has been that way until now, and we have hope that will go on. But when I joined now the scholarship proper, I discovered there are so many ways of looking at music scholarship, depending on your passion, and even based on the shortcomings we have had here and there, we have gaps that we can fill. And I'm glad to be here to share with you that. If another chance arises, I will share more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Just listening to the insights, I'm getting a question that now, since majority of us are people who are in our early years of our music career, what are the prospects? Like, my father used to have a very hard time to explain to people that son who was considered bright in school, who would have done medicine, who would have done accountancy or law, has now opted to do this quote unquote useless thing called music. So he had a very hard time explaining to people that, okay, so what are the opportunities that are out there? So imagine this parent who has allowed the son to go and study music, does not have an explanation of what can come out of that music. So I can already see that a lot of people who do not understand exactly how this industry works do not understand what can come out of that music. I think I'll start with Professor Mapaya. What are the possible path, career path for the people who are just starting music as their career right now? Let's say in music education, in music performance, in scholarship. As a young scholar, if I ask you what will music education bring to me, what would be your answer in the African context?
I think to answer that question, we need to go to the beginning. Why would one want to study music? There are several reasons. Music is one subject that appeals to you personally. You either love music and then you have the passion to get to understand how music works. So in a way, there are some people who study music for themselves and not for any other thing. And then there are people who study music towards a career. And there are several careers that one can think about. The good thing is, as you go through whatever stream you choose, you still do music for yourself. Music is therapeutic. Music is one human expression that can really guarantee happiness. If you hear someone singing, they can't really fake it. Quite often, they are a happy person. So I think Julius Caesar once said something about Brutus, that he hears no music. Meaning, if you don't hear music, if you don't have the ability to hear music, you are probably a sad person in life. So why now would you invest in studying music? Number one is that music is needed. I'll give you an example. I had a child who had a bending spinal cord. I think they call it scoliosis. Then I took him to a hospital and then they cut him open and then they were putting in rods inside trying to straighten his back. And then it took about 8 hours. And then when the physician finally came out, she said, no, you'll do fine. But then I started questioning myself, the qualification that I have. I was saying, look, here am I, a professor who cannot do anything. When my son needed me, there's nothing I can do. And here's a person who invested properly by going to school and did medicine. And this is evidence of how important this was. And then the physician said to me, stop right there. And then I said, okay. He said, you are a professor in music. I said, yes. She said, you are one of the most important people. And then I said, how do you mean? She said to me, come with me to the recovery room. And then I followed her. The recovery room is a room where the patients that come out of theater are put to recover. And then she said, count how many people are in here. I said, okay, I can see the number. And then she said, but then listen. I said, what am I listening for? She says, no, just listen. Then I listened. There was some soft music playing somewhere from the ceiling. And then she said to me, do you want to go and stop that music that is playing? Then I said, what do you mean? She says, I guarantee you, if you can go and switch off the music, half of these people that you see here are not going to wake up. They'll die. And then I said, okay, what do you mean? She says, yes. Music is just about the only thing that reminds people that they are alive. So go on and compose music, because by so doing, you are saving lives. From that day on, I started valuing the qualification that I have. I started valuing what we do. So that was just an example. Music is very important. Actually, it's critical for human beings to be normal and happy. Right. I've just said now that actually Prof. Wanyama even confirmed that coming out of the colonial era, our schools did not have music. And they will continue not to have music if people that are in this group decide to become lawyers and not music educators. So what we are doing now, we are trying to balance the equation that was disturbed by colonialism. We are trying to grow as many musicians or as many music educators as possible, because they are needed. And one would say, okay, they are needed, but things are moving fast. Hey, technology, hey, AI, or whatnot. But all those things do not touch the human soul. So even when we introduce them in the school, in the curriculum, it is just to supplement the basic essence of what music can do to people. So your question is, what does the father say to a son or a daughter who decides, no, I'm going to study music? The answer is, you need to be human. You can go and work, but the human element needs to be preserved. And music is one of those things that can do that. And music is rewarding because musicians are a lot that are disciplined. It disciplines you. It's tempered scales. You can't play outside the scale. Everything is controlled. Everything is rule-based. So you are able to manipulate the rules. Therefore, you are able to manipulate even your own emotions, how you react to situations. So being a musician or being a music educator has got so many other benefits that perhaps people are not aware of simply because of our level of exposure. But then if you go back in history, you'd ask yourself the question, why did the Roman Catholic Church saw it necessary to invest in the Gregorian chants and institutionalizing it to a level of it being the music education that we know today? The value of music cannot be overemphasized, and the chances are plenty. We only need to be creative and to be deliberate as to what problem are we solving if we produce so many music educators. I would argue that we want to change this thing that music is not important by introducing music to as many schools as possible. And then I don't think at the rate we are doing, we are covering enough space. So there's a huge vacuum that we still need to fill. We need to multiply each and every one who's in this platform by 100 for us to make a dent into this legacy that we still need to correct. I think in a nutshell, well, in not so many words, that is how important our choices, your choices are, perhaps not only to yourself alone, but to humanity in general. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much. From your insights, I pick that I'm not sure about other places, but in Africa, music is life. That it's like it goes hand in hand. You live and then you need music. You don't need music only when you're dead. Though when you're dead, when we take you for burial, we also take you with music. Yeah, Professor Wanyama, we have very few minutes remaining. So Professor Wanyama, then Dr. Tolu.
Yeah. Let me just reiterate what Professor Mapaya has said. Let me start from Africa. Let me not say even rarely. In pre-colonial times, all functions in the African society setting had music or have music to drive the agenda. Like it is interspersed with music items here and there, either at the beginning, the middle, or yeah. So that tells you how music is important in our side here. It's like part and parcel. It is not like, it's like the air you breathe. You cannot stop breathing at one moment and then you start breathing later. So about the scholarship, we had also our own teaching, which was not written like rules of teaching music, but it was based on talent development and apprenticeship, where you are taught by a music guru who is in the community. And some communities had even like sections or tribes which were believed to be endowed with music talent, and they were nurtured in a specific program that moves on. Now, about scholarship, the Western scholarship, let me put it that way, you can tell that the colonizers in Africa here, they had a reason why they had to deny the African the scholarship part of the music, the Western scholarship. One, it is so specialized and it could easily make them even more, make Africans more shine in their careers, because African music is so versatile in terms of expression, composition, and creativity, etc., etc. So, from my perspective, music is so subjective. You chose to do music because your heart, your feelings like it, like that is the thing you should associate with. So, since we have too many facets of music, you can pick whichever and run with it. Let me just give you an example. I told you I'm a choral music composer. I have composed about 5 anthems. I can tell I composed the anthem for Moi University, for Kabarak University, for Kenya Police, for Octagon Company, and all that. And these groups hired me, like they bought me, or they requested me to do for them the anthem so that they can have an identity, and they paid for it. Why did they come for me instead of another person? So what I'm telling you that if you choose music, choose the area you are passionate about and let it be your identity. It will earn you a living. It will also earn you a career. So scholarship, if you are learning music at undergraduate and postgraduate level, only exposes you to many ways of understanding music and applying music in different ways. Some careers are self-determined. You see, if you are good in music, you will not hide. Even if somebody tried to suppress you, you will be looked for. So I would like to say that it's very important to study music, to practice music, to sharpen your talent, and even to invest in webinars like this so that we understand the fact that we are not lost sheep. We are just few because of the historical, geographical, and other reasons. But with time, if we continue this way, we will have many of us on board, and we will even widen the sphere. Look, now technology has caught up with every discipline. Music happens to be an art and science and philosophy and etc. etc. So it is so wide, and as technology comes in, AI and the rest, we from Africa here, we can also leverage that and use our traditional styles, structures, and performance styles and create business out of it, patents out of it, which will make it very easy to compose music, to archive music, and to perform music, etc. etc. So I am here to give you hope that what you are doing is very important, and you are lucky to be here because you would be unlucky to be in a crowd or in a discipline where there's a crowd where you risk suffocating because everybody is the same. Luckily, music is for the chosen few. Let me not let anybody pretend that anybody can just come from any bush and say they want music because it is special. If you have a talent, don't drop it, nurture it, and you will be somebody to be emulated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Dr. Tolu?
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. And I just want to add a few things to that. From traditional, ways of looking at music, from the ways people in the society have seen music before now, they see it like, oh, it's a space for some people who are not serious, or the people who don't really cannot do any other, who cannot engage in any other popular profession or, things that people, the professions that are very popular, and so initially when when young people say that, oh, I want to study music or I want to go into music, they the parents may want to discourage such a person that, oh, why don't you consider other areas where the professions that already have structures, that we know that, oh, if you're an engineer, yes, we know what you are doing. We know if you're a lawyer, yes, we think we know what you are doing, and so on and so forth. Well, that was the original ways in which people think and approach this area of study of music and education. But I know that mentality is fast changing now. It's no longer like that. It's beginning to change. And because as in those days that people think that way, there was really not many people had, gone into studying music in a very, taking it as something that they can build their careers on. So people felt, oh, you just want to go and waste your time and all that. But now that our institutions are beginning to open up, we have people, coming in to study, and then their teachers are beginning to multiply there. So there's something that is beginning to build up, though it is like Professor Mapaya said, it is the individual that will decide what he or she wants to make out of music. Music is something that is beautiful, and it's something that gives you opportunity to become whatever you want to be, to be popular. It's just for the student or the scholar of music to be focused and work hard, acquire the necessary skills and capacities that you need. And you can now continue to do whatever you want to do. And eventually, if you work hard, you will become something. You make something with yourself in music, because music, like every other profession, it continues to evolve, and new people are coming on the scene. And if you chose to be one of them that will be known, that you work hard towards it, and you will be. And it's just something that we can put our minds to, and make something good out of it. We don't have to just stay with the traditional mindset where people think that music is for people who really cannot do well in any other thing. This is it's a very viable profession, and it's something that it's just for the individual to acquire the capacity, the skills that is necessary. Just don't wait for anybody. Put your, if you want to be a composer, you study whatever it takes to be, and then you experiment, you work hard, and you become one, and people will know you, and you make money. There's money that is there to be made, but if you don't have the capacity, if you are distracted, then you cannot blame anyone, because if they ask you to come and do one thing or the other and you cannot fit into it, then you'll be losing opportunities and be losing money. So this is my own take on it. People should be able to be devoted, dedicated, and focused. And the sky is not even the limit. You keep moving, and you make something good with your life. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Bio has written something in the chat. He has created a very nice background of the case, but in between there, he has asked a question. And the question is, how relevant is our music curriculum to our immediate community? And I would like to add something to that question. During your times when you are studying, it was almost important for someone who wants to study music, especially in the higher levels, to go abroad for it, to go to Europe, to go to America to study music. So right now, for me to get a good education, especially in the tertiary level, is it still important for me to get that education abroad? Is Africa self-sufficient to educate the Africans when it comes to music? And as you're answering that question, also address the question, how relevant is our music curriculum to our immediate community? Our time is already over, so we can make that brief, then we close the webinar. We can start with Professor Wanyama.
Yeah, I would say it as Africa is it has enough personnel and the tools and to right now to impact music education in whichever area. And the world is now globalized. I want to give an example, like at Kabarak University. We have a very live collaboration and active collaboration with the University of Ibadan, where Dr. Tolu is teaching, and University of Venda, where Professor Mapaya is teaching. And they are all teaching at Kabarak University. We are also teaching that side. What I'm saying is that we are specialized differently in Africa, and nothing can stop us also with collaborating with Europe and other universities there, because they also don't know so much of what we know here in Africa that is important to them and their students. So, in fact, it's very interesting for them to be inducted or to be to know what music education means in Africa, what we do here in Africa, than only relying on the West. So I think the question, the answer is yes, we can manage, and where we can't sufficiently address the gap, there's a possibility of doing it virtually with wherever we can get that. But the future is bright, we can do it here.
Thank you so much. Professor Mapaya?
Yes, I think Prof. Wanyama said a mouthful. And I also like to express my excitement from Dr. Tulu's presentation. That's exactly what this is all about. Making a choice and then making a success out of it. Yes, we are coming to that level where there's no need for you to go and study anything anywhere. The world is becoming very small. I'm sitting 4,000 kilometers away from you. You might as well be sitting in this meeting with Professor Kidula or someone who's in the States. So pretty soon, we'll be having collaborations with those African musicologists who are elsewhere. So you'll be having access to them through Ibadan, through Kabarak, through Univen. So if you go there, it should be for other reasons, not that Kabarak cannot give you enough. You could go there because of a career prospect there, not necessarily because the quality that you receive at Kabarak is inferior. Because right there in Kabarak, you can receive tuition from Kofi Agao. You don't have to go to him. You can receive lessons from him through what we are trying to create. Ibadan, Kabarak, Univen, we're trying to create a network so that if you say you are an African scholar, you've been supervised by a scholar from the southern tip, east, and the western. So we'll move to a level where it becomes almost formulaic that when you arrive at Univen, you'll be given a supervisor from Nigeria or Ghana, another supervisor from Kenya, Uganda, or any of the East African countries. So there's no need now for us to agitate to get out of Africa. The time of the brain drain is gone. We are committing to bring whatever resources we may need at your doorstep. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Tolu, to finish on that.
Okay, yeah, the knowledge is beginning to come together, because when we started, the whole idea of music education, where our schools now embrace music and our institutions embrace music. Of course, we started with Western curriculum, and teaching various courses, in that Western oriented essentially. We are still doing it, but now we have moved further to begin to add African courses, curriculum, things that are more relevant to our timeline, our space. So we are learning more about ourselves, about our music. Thank God for the great scholars who had gone ahead to prepare the ground, and the music of Africa has been opened up, has been explored, and on a daily basis, we are beginning to distill more theories, further theories on African music. We are observing how we do our music, and we are beginning to write more and begin to bring forth more understanding of our music. And then we are, beginning to integrate it into our curriculum, and it's beginning to give us the African dimensions to music education. And in fact, it's on a very sporadic increment. So it's increasing on a daily basis. So we find ourselves understanding our music much more than we have ever done before. So truly, we don't have to, say that we have to. Though we cannot say we are not an island. We continue to learn about other peoples of the music of other lands, other people, from the western, from the eastern part of the world. But all the same, now that we are adding our own to it, the narrative is getting better. And so we will continue to thrive as we continue to do this. So that is what I believe will give us the perfect mix, so that we can now say that, yes, we have arrived, on the global stage, and we cannot be pushed aside. Anywhere we go, we are able to showcase what we have been able to bring forth, so that other people can understand our music and understand the way our musical worldview. So that is I think that's the important thing that we are beginning to evolve and to make to happen. So those are the things that I believe that's the way to go, integrate into the world and bring our own worldviews musical worldviews to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our time is really running. I don't know where it's going to. So I think after some time, we'll need to get these amazing scholars back for us to have a deeper discussion. Just two things before I welcome Shri to give some announcements. One is Africa. We are not doing as well as other continents when it comes to student chapter. I understand it's because our continent is very big and the means to reach everyone is a bit complicated. I want us to challenge ourselves. One, if you listened well to Professor Wanyama, he talks about how PASMAE, which is a partner to ISME, how it played a role in making him who he is. I'm not sure if he mentioned he was the president of PASMAE, I think around 4 or 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So I am a testimony that this connection has helped me gain a lot of insights, learn a lot, and of course, get a lot in terms of connections. Sometimes even it ends up becoming even financial, and so on and so forth. So I urge everyone who is in attendance today, in our countries, the fee to join ISME for our countries, I think it's around $10. Yeah, so just go to the website and just look at the membership page and just join that membership. I can assure you, you will not regret that. Number two, there will be a conference organized by PASME in Uganda, Kampala, the end of this month or the beginning of next month. I'm not sure about the dates. Yeah, so if you can get a chance to be there, for those who can, for example, people from Kenya, people from Tanzania, it's very close. Let's try and make sure that we get there. Thank you so much, Professor Wanyama. Thank you so much, Dr. Tolu. Thank you so much, Professor Mapaya. I know you have taken this time from your busy schedules to be here. Thank you so much, everyone who has attended. It's a success. I feel good for me as your representative that we have held this one and will be hosting more and more of such. We keep hosting these regularly, and I think Shri will speak more about that. We keep doing this regularly. We have so many lessons that we learn here on publishing, on performance, on just a lot of things, and encourage your students. For example, I can see so many lecturers here. Yeah, encourage your students to be part of this, because of course, even when I know you've undergone interviews and such, this will be one of those things that will give you more marks. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome Shri. One, to introduce herself properly, because a lot of people had not joined when we started, and to give the announcements.
Thank you so much, Asajili, and thank you so much to today's panelists, Professor Wanyama, Professor Mapaya, Professor Tolu. Thank you so much for your insight, and congratulations on our very first ISME Africa panel for the student forum. Very happy to have all of you here today. Very quick announcements. I'm Shri, by the way. I do admin and communications for ISME. I'm currently situated in India. It is almost 9 p.m. here. I just had a few announcements. I've put some links in the chat. One small correction, Sajile, it's not the same fee for every country. So each country has a different fee structure. I have put the link in the chat. It's www.isme.org/join. I've put that on the chat. You can please check your country's fee structure there. And I will reiterate what Asajile was saying. please, please attend the PASME Regional Conference if you can. It is in the first week of July. It is in the first week of July. And we will have the PASME leadership there. We have ISME leadership traveling to Uganda. And I think they're trying to have a student session there also. We're still talking about it, and please go and attend if you can. It will be good for the region. And I have also pasted the Facebook links in the chat. Now, this is where you will find the YouTube video of this recording. This is recorded and it will be uploaded in YouTube in another 1 or 2 days. And then we will share the link of this recording on our Facebook page and on our Instagram. So I've put the Facebook links in the chat. So you can go there and you can follow us there, and every update that we have, you can follow us in the student forum and also in the main ISME Facebook page. And another thing is, as you know, the World Conference calls have gone out. The pre-conference seminar calls have gone out, and we would love to see a lot of participation from the Africa region. So please, please, I'm going to share that link in the chat. Please apply. Please submit your abstracts for that. If you don't know, this is an important part of the announcement that I had to make. We have travel awards for people who have, a financial problem to travel to the World Conference. We do have travel awards. It will be announced in a couple of months. So please don't avoid submitting because you think you cannot make it there. There were people who have, I myself as a student, when I was a student, I received some financial assistance from ISME many years ago for the Brisbane conference, I think 2022. So ISME does support people from, those who are not able to support, who are not in high paying jobs, those who are like students or low paid teachers. I used to be a low paid teacher. So we do support such members to come and attend the World Conference and the pre-conference seminar. So please, please submit your abstracts. Will travel awards also be, no, sorry, travel awards will only be available to those who have never received them before. If you have received a travel award before, you cannot apply again. That is one of the rules. Yeah. And I've put the World Conference link that's in the chat. And I will also put the pre-conference seminar link in the chat. Those are separate things. World Conference is in the 3rd week of July, and the pre-conference seminars is in the week before that. They're both in Canada. So there you go. And Ananya has put in a link for the exit survey. That is, it would be great if you could fill that form and tell us what are your problems. What do you want to hear from us? Like what help do you need? What are the resources you need? And we will try and help you the best we can. I'm very happy to say that our current ISME leadership is very, very proactive in trying to address the needs of the people. Like whatever you need, you let us know and we will try our best to address them. So please, so please do go through the links and and you can ask me any questions in my email. I'm going to put my email in the chat. That is my email. And you can also email Ananya. We both are in the ISME office, so we can reply any questions that you have. Yeah. So there is one question. I clicked the link now and it's asking me for sponsor code. It's asking me to pay. Yeah, you do have to pay for your membership. If you're not able to afford your membership fee, then you can ask someone to sponsor you. If you have like a friend or a colleague who is willing to sponsor you, you can send them. There is on the main page, you will find, if you scroll below, you will find sponsor a member. You can send them that link. Wait, I will just send you the link. Sponsor. So if you send the sponsor link to your friend, family, or colleague who is willing to sponsor you. Just send them this link and then they can sponsor your membership. Membership, you have to be a paying member to avail the travel awards. You have to be a member because we cannot give you the travel awards just to anyone. You have to be an ISME member to apply for the travel awards. The travel awards are not yet open. They will open in a few months, and you can, you will get the new, if you're an ISME member, you will get the news about the travel awards in your email. If you're not an ISME member, I encourage you to become an ISME member, or at least you can follow us on social media, and you will get the information about the travel awards there. Yeah. Sorry, I've taken extra time, but there was a lot of information. Yeah. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you and congratulations for the first Africa panel by the student forum. Congratulations, Asajile.
Thank you. Yes, so two more things. One, on the sponsorship that she's talking about, I'm one of the beneficiaries. And also the travel awards, I'm one of the beneficiaries. So what you can do, you can also sponsor people. If you have people that you know, your students, and then you have some extra cash, you can sponsor them. I was sponsored. That's how I became a member for the first time. And then when I was to renew, I was able to pay for myself. So you can sponsor your students, 5 of them, 10 of them, 20 of them, depending on how you can. Even 1 of them, it's not bad. But also, we provide certificates for members when they attend these webinars. So if you're a member, expect your certificate. And if you're not a member, kindly join so that the next time you get the certificate. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry for taking much of your time. I believe it was worth it. And unless there is any of my seniors in ISME who wants to speak, I think, yes, I think, Shri, will the certificates be sent to emails?
I think, no, this is a conversation for Hayden. I don't know if we're doing certificates for this one. We have to discuss with Hayden and let them know.
Thank you so much. So for members, probably we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. If at all, because I will get the list of all the participants, and then we'll have to check who are members, and maybe, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to wish you a good, yes?
No, I just wanted to say that we at ISME have all of these webinars are free, and they're open to everyone, even non-members. So, and we always upload it on Facebook. So all of these, if you can even go and look at the older ones and learn from that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I would like to wish you a good morning, a good evening, good night, good afternoon, depending on where you are. And from the emails and our handles, you can reach us there and you can get anything that you want to know or to get from ISME. You have a good time. Thank you so much for being here.